Have you ever been completely powerless against someone who made your life miserable? So powerless that the only justice you could get had to stay a secret? I was just 13 years old. My mom's new husband loved reminding everyone that this was his house now. He invaded my privacy, mocked my feelings, and turned every single day into a nightmare. But what he didn't know was that every morning, before he started his routine, I had already gotten my revenge. Before we dive in, if you enjoy satisfying revenge stories where karma eventually finds the people who deserve it, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. We upload new Reddit-style revenge stories every week. When my parents divorced, everything in my life changed almost overnight. The house suddenly felt quieter, not happier, just empty. My mom was heartbroken, trying her best to hold everything together while raising me alone. For a little while, I actually believed things would slowly get better. Then she met him. At first, he acted like the perfect gentleman. He brought flowers. He smiled constantly. He complimented my mom every chance he got. Even I thought maybe she had finally found someone who could make her happy again. I couldn't have been more wrong. The moment he moved into our house, it was like someone flipped a switch. His smile disappeared. His patience vanished. And his true personality finally came out. He wasn't physically violent. He didn't need to be. His favorite weapon was control. He wanted everyone in the house to remember that he was in charge, especially me. I was only 13, too young to fight back, too old to ignore what was happening. He would walk into my room without knocking, read my diary while I was at school, use my makeup, eat snacks I bought with birthday money, borrow my headphones without asking, then laugh whenever I complained. "Oh, relax," he'd say, "we're family." Except family usually respects boundaries. He didn't. Every single day felt like another tiny battle. One insult here, one invasion of privacy there, one sarcastic comment after another. None of these things sounded huge on their own, but together, they slowly crushed me. It felt like living with someone whose favorite hobby was making me uncomfortable. Then there was the shampoo. I know that sounds ridiculous, but hear me out. I had thick curly hair that needed specific shampoo. My mom didn't have much money, so whenever she managed to buy my favorite bottle, I treasured every drop. Guess who started using it? Of course, him. He had his own products, expensive ones, but for some reason, he preferred mine. And whenever my shampoo was almost empty, he'd pour water into the bottle to make it last longer. I absolutely hated watered-down shampoo. It never felt clean. It smelled different. It was just gross. Every single time I picked up the bottle, I knew he'd been in it. It wasn't about shampoo anymore. It was another reminder that nothing I owned actually belonged to me. I complained once. He laughed. "It's just shampoo." Maybe it was. But after months of disrespect, that bottle represented everything. One evening I stood in the bathroom, staring at his shelf. His expensive anti-hair loss shampoo, his herbal products, his carefully organized routine. For the first time in months, I smiled. A tiny idea appeared in my head. It was childish, immature, completely ridiculous, and honestly, perfect. I quietly opened his shampoo, made sure nobody was around. And, let's just say, I added an ingredient that definitely wasn't listed on the bottle. Then, I gently closed the cap, placed it exactly where I'd found it, walked away, and waited. The next morning, I watched him proudly wash his hair, completely unaware. I had never felt such delicious satisfaction. For the first time in months, I had a secret. A tiny victory that belonged only to me. He still acted like a bully. He still barked orders. He still invaded everyone's privacy. But every time he used that bottle, I couldn't help smiling. It became my silent rebellion. Weeks turned into months. Months turned into years. Whenever one bottle ran low, another one mysteriously became special. His anti-hair loss shampoo, his herbal tea concentrate, his expensive beard products, even a bottle of natural drops he took every morning because he believed they improved his health. Everything liquid, became fair game. It almost became a ritual. Whenever he'd spend the day criticizing me, I'd remember my little secret. Whenever he'd insult my mom, I'd remember. Whenever he'd stomp around acting like king of the house, I'd remember. And suddenly, he didn't seem nearly as powerful. That tiny secret gave me something I'd been missing: control. Of course, did it actually change my life? No. He was still miserable, still emotionally exhausting, still impossible to live with. But revenge isn't always about destroying someone. Sometimes it's about reminding yourself that they don't completely own your spirit. Years passed. Eventually I moved out, built my own life, went to therapy, learned healthy boundaries, found peace. My mom finally realized who he really was. Their marriage didn't last forever. I wish I could say karma hit him dramatically, that he discovered everything, that there was some explosive confrontation. But there wasn't. He never found out, not once. To this day, he simply used his favorite products every morning for years, completely clueless. Sometimes friends ask me if I regret it. Honestly, not really. Would adult me solve problems that way? Absolutely not. But 13-year-old me wasn't trying to become a villain. She was trying to survive. She was trying to find one tiny corner of a world where she wasn't powerless. Looking back now, I don't celebrate the act itself. I celebrate the little girl who refused to let someone completely crush her spirit. Every now and then, I think about that frightened teenager standing alone in the bathroom, trying to reclaim even the smallest piece of control. And I can't help smiling. I mentally give her a high five. Because even though no one else ever knew, she knew. And somehow, that was enough. Sometimes, revenge isn't loud. Sometimes, there are no dramatic speeches, no courtroom victories, and no public humiliation. Sometimes, the greatest victory is simply surviving long enough to build a better life, while refusing to let someone steal every piece of your happiness. If you enjoyed this revenge story, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever witnessed, or the sweetest karma you've ever seen? We'll see you in the next Reddit revenge story.